Alright, Shalom. Before I begin this video, all praise, honor, and glory goes into Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone, GMS, who rule well, teach well, taught me this truth. Sincere salutations to the elder bishops along with you brothers, man, who are pushing all throughout the four winds of the earth. Yahweh Shem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash, Barakatham. And this is just more breaking news. You know, every day is breaking news. Possible National Guard soldiers in the street, which, we know that's just on a small scale. Yeah, we know eventually, later on down the line, that's going to be commonplace. So, just play a little bit of this. Lord's will is edifying.
More intense, Shaq, we're hearing they're mobilizing the National Guard. Will we see soldiers on the street?
Well, Tom, officials say it depends on the need. The National Guard says teams will be pre-positioned across the Minneapolis area in case that call comes, but local officials saying they will not tolerate any acts of violence. Tom?
All right, Shaquille Brewster for us tonight. Shaq, thank you. It was a dramatic moment in the Oval Office. Venezuela's opposition leader presenting her Nobel Peace Prize to President Trump. Tonight, Garrett Haake asking President Trump why he accepted it.
Tonight, just 24 hours after Venezuela's opposition leader Maria Corina Machado presented President Trump with her Nobel Peace Prize, we pressed the president on what he'll do with it. What do you intend to do with it, and why would you want someone else's Nobel Prize?
Well, she offered it to me. I thought it was very nice.
The president praising Machado after their Oval Office meeting.
I never met her before, and I was very, very impressed. She's this is a fine woman.
Machado earlier explaining why she offered her 18-karat gold medal to President Trump.
Because he deserves it for what he's doing to liberate Venezuela and for freedom in the Americas.
Despite Machado's gesture, the president for now standing by his support for Venezuela's interim president, Delcy Rodriguez, a loyalist of authoritarian leader Nicolas Maduro, whom the U.S. captured and brought to New York to stand trial. The White House says Rodriguez has been, quote, extraordinarily cooperative, including releasing some political prisoners and proposing new access to oil reserves. Machado optimistic about a future election.
And I believe I will be elected when the right time comes as president of Venezuela, the first woman president.
Despite Machado's decision, the Nobel Institute saying again tonight that the prize itself remains, quote, inseparably linked to the person or organization designated as the laureate. Tom?
Garrett Haake for us. Garrett, thank you. Now to the president's push to take over Greenland. Residents there on edge, that territory part of Denmark, and our Ryan Nobles is there on the ground tonight as the country fears for what could come next.
Tonight, in the streets of Denmark's capital, Copenhagen, anxiety over Donald Trump's push to take over Greenland is high.
I think that's very terrifying.
Greenland is a largely self-governing territory, part of the broader Danish kingdom. And the people in both places have little interest in making the Arctic island an American property.
Greenland is not for sale, so what is on the table from the U.S. side right now is not interesting for us. And you can't buy a country.
So today we'll be doing the roughing on a new construction residential building. We will be installing shark bite, PEX-A, and expansion.
President doubling down just today.
I may put a tariff on countries if they don't go along with Greenland, because we need Greenland for national security.
Pippa Lung serves in Greenland's parliament. She says the U.S. threats are making life difficult.
The children are worried. The adults are not sleeping. I think the Venezuela episode has just ignited our fears, so it's really important to have a dialogue with each other.
The unease extends all the way to Denmark. And there are examples of the Danish frustration with President Trump popping up all over Copenhagen, sometimes organically in signs like these.
I think it's a really big problem, and I also think it's a really big move. Also in terms of like NATO and stuff, it's like a big deal. And I also think it's really wrong.
And And while Trump may not be getting the message, members of Congress are. Democrat Chris Coons and Republican Lisa Murkowski are here trying to ease fears, telling NBC News exclusively that Trump's push to take over Greenland is a non-starter.
We also heard an amazing statement from the foreign minister this afternoon, who said, you can trade with people, but you cannot trade people. We cannot trade away the people of Greenland.
Ryan Nobles, NBC News, Copenhagen.
We have a major update in the case of Charlie Kirk. The accused killer in that case, Tyler Robinson's defense team, arguing a conflict of interest because a prosecutor's son witnessed the fatal shooting. Our Morgan Chesky explains.
Additional legal. In Provo, Utah, alleged assassin Tyler Robinson sat stoic, wearing a shirt, tie, and shackles. The 22-year-old accused of murdering Charlie Kirk not audibly heard saying anything amid a high-stakes, high-security hearing. His defense team accusing prosecutors of a conflict of interest in their office, saying a fellow attorney's daughter was in the crowd at Utah Valley University when Kirk was shot. The defense saying as the daughter ran to safety, she began texting her father, who was with the attorney that decided to pursue the death penalty.
If I had found out that my child was at an incident where somebody was shot and killed, I would have an incredibly strong emotional reaction, even if they were safe.
Robinson's attorneys claiming the decision to pursue the death penalty was fueled by emotion rather than law. Prosecutors disagreed.
This is ambush and another stalling tactic to delay these proceedings.
The judge eventually ruling the defense's argument insufficient. Robinson's charged with aggravated murder in Kirk's death, accused of using a family hunting rifle to fire the fatal shot witnessed by thousands.
And barely 24 hours after that shooting, friends and family, some of whom were in court today, convinced Robinson to turn himself in. As of right now, he's due back in court as early as next month. Tom? All right, Morgan, thank you. We have alarming surveillance video out of New Orleans to show you tonight. A school bus driver suddenly walking off the job, leaving young students alone and stranded at a busy intersection on the bus. And police are still searching for that driver tonight. Here's George Solis.
The alarming moment caught on surveillance video. Watch as a school bus driver transporting young students walks off the job, leaving 6 children stranded. The video, obtained by NBC affiliate WDSU, shows the bus parked near a busy New Orleans intersection when the driver suddenly steps off the bus, crosses multiple lanes of traffic, and walks away, abandoning the students on their way to school. Here, you can see those children running towards the front of the bus as officers arrive, 22 minutes after the driver left. School officials later arriving on scene. Tonight, New Orleans police still searching for the driver. The troubling incident taking place early Wednesday morning. New Orleans police telling NBC News there was a verbal conflict between the driver and at least one student that led the driver to pull to the side of the road and exit the bus. The child abuse unit now investigating as the community demands answers.
It's very unprofessional to leave kids on a bus and you get off. What if somebody would have got on a bus and drove the bus off with the kids on it?
The school district telling NBC News families were immediately notified, adding, "We take matters of student safety very seriously." George Solis, NBC News.
When we return in 60 seconds, the shocking lawsuit. A former senator sued, accused of an affair with her bodyguard, the so-called homewrecker law that makes it possible for her to be sued for it. That's next.
However you book, first check Kayak to find great deals and filter out flights you maybe don't want, like layovers. Then do what people do. Recheck.
We're back now with a former senator being sued under a so-called homewrecker law. Kyrsten Sinema is facing allegations she had an affair with her bodyguard and broke up a family. Here's Stephanie Gosk.
Tonight, former Arizona Senator Kyrsten Sinema is battling a lawsuit accusing her of breaking up a 14-year marriage through intentional and malicious interference, claiming Sinema began an affair with her security guard, Matthew Amel, as early as 2023. Here they both are appearing at the Arizona State Legislature last year. The 16-page lawsuit filed by Amel's ex-wife lays out in detail how the affair allegedly began, with texts described as romantic and lascivious, and then work trips that turned personal. On one occasion in 2024, Amell told his wife the senator was handsy. On another trip, Sinema allegedly told Amell to bring the drug MDMA so she could guide him through a psychedelic experience. According to the lawsuit, Sinema bought Amell gifts and took him to concerts, including asking him to provide her security for a U2 show at the Sphere in Las Vegas. The lawsuit also alleges the head of Sinema's security team resigned because she believed the senator was having sexual relations with other security members. Amell's ex-wife, who he shares 3 children with, filed the lawsuit in North Carolina, where the couple lived when the affair allegedly began. Is it possible to be sued for breaking up someone else's marriage?
Not in most states, but it is in North Carolina. That's one of 7 states where an alienation of affection claim exists, colloquially called a homewrecker statute.
Sinema, who served 1 term as senator before deciding not to run for re-election, has not returned requests for comment. Neither has Matt Amell. Amell's ex-wife is seeking at least $25,000 plus punitive damages. In a statement, she said she hopes to hold Sinema responsible for, quote, destructive behavior. Tom?
Stephanie Gosk with that new lawsuit. All right, when we...
Pure confusion. The point is a little bit further down, but I'm gonna start at the top. This is Isaiah 24:1. Behold, the Lord maketh the earth empty, and maketh it waste, and turneth it upside down, and scattereth abroad the inhabitants thereof. And it shall be as with the people, so with the priest, as with the servant, so with his master, as with the maid, so with her mistress, as with the buyer, so with the seller, as with the lender, so with the borrower, as with the taker of usury, so with the giver of usury to him. The land shall be utterly emptied and utterly spoiled, for the Lord hath spoken this word. So it's gonna, eventually lead to this place being destroyed. There's all these, wars, rumors of wars. Right, we're seeing the breakdown and the decay of Babylon the Great. The earth mourneth and fadeth away. The world languisheth and fadeth away. The haughty people of the earth do languish. Yeah, so all these people with their nose all up in the air. It's not looking too good. Now all of a sudden, everybody all jacked up. They languishing. The earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof. So just life here, it's making it worse. It's plastic. All sorts of fumes and chemicals. It says, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant. By sinning and going against the Lord, the Israelites are literally putting, a stress on this place. That's why when we're in the perfect bodies, those perfect bodies, the earth will be reset and refreshed, because we won't go off. So the earth, itself is going to be actually clean. Isaiah 24:5 says, the earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws, right? The laws of Yahweh Shem Yahushai going down. Therefore hath the curse devoured the earth, and they that dwell therein are desolate. Therefore the inhabitants of the earth are burned, and few men left. The new wine mourneth, the vine languisheth, all the merry-hearted do sigh. And right now, the people are merry-hearted, they happy, partying, living it up. But eventually they gonna sigh. So you can only ignore these, these different news reports for so long. Shit getting real. The mirth of the tabret ceaseth, the noise of them that rejoice endeth, the joy of the harp ceaseth. No more life is, every day is the same. Life is usual. Nah, every day is different. More and more prophecy speaking. It's getting worse and worse out here, right? They shall not drink wine with a song. Strong drink shall be bitter to them that drink it. The city of confusion is broken down, right? America. Every house is shut up that no man may come in. And that's eventually how it's going to be, when they get the troops involved. There's a crying for wine in the streets. All joy is darkened. The mirth of the land is gone. And the city is left desolation, and the gate is smitten with destruction. Yeah, this place about to be through, man. When thus it shall be in the midst of the land among the people, there shall be as the shaking of an olive tree, and as the gleaning grapes when the vintage is done. And if you shake a tree, obviously that's a violent act. All right, the harvest, that means the harvest is full, is ready. Isaiah 24:14, they shall lift up their voice. They shall sing for the majesty of the Lord. They shall cry aloud from the sea. Wherefore glorify ye the Lord in the fires, even the name of the Lord, power of Israel in the isles of the sea. Alright, so you have the Israelites scattered throughout the four winds of the earth. The Lord is gathering his elect. Verse 16, from the uttermost part of the earth have we heard songs, even glory to the righteous, right? The elect. Israelites. But I said, my leanness, woe unto me. The treacherous dealers have dealt treacherously. Yea, the treacherous dealers have dealt very treacherously. The wicked. Right? Fear and the pit and the snare are upon thee, O inhabitant of the earth. Alright, so people think they just live in, same day or same shit, different day. No, it's a pit, it's a snare. Alright, being here in Babylon the Great, this is the worst captivity ever. Alright, and the Israelites are, as a whole, they're unaware of that. And then it gets revealed to them who they are. They get the warning to turn back, and they're willingly ignorant. So that means they're gonna perish, right? Isaiah 24:18, and it shall come to pass that he who fleeth from the noise of the fear shall fall into the pit, and he that cometh up out of the midst of the pit shall be taken in the snare. For the windows from on high are open, and the foundations of the earth do shake. The earth is utterly broken down. The earth is clean dissolved. The earth is moved exceedingly. Cause see what the missiles is gonna come on, a reset. The earth shall reel to and fro like a drunkard, and shall be removed like a cottage, and the transgression thereof shall be heavy upon it, and it shall fall and not rise again. So that's it, man. We coming up on the actual fall of Babylon the Great. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall punish the host of the high ones that are on high, and the kings of the earth upon the earth. Alright, starting off with the international banking elite. Alright, the 1% of the 1%. Edomites. And you other nations. And they shall be gathered together as prisoners are gathered in the pit. They shall be shut up in the prison, and after many days shall they be visited. Woo! Captivity coming, man. Then the moon shall be confounded, and the sun ashamed, when the Lord of hosts shall reign in Mount Zion, right, his elect, and in Jerusalem, before his ancients, gloriously, being in them perfect bodies. Psalms 149:1. Praise ye the Lord. Sing unto the Lord a new song, in his praise in the congregation of saints. Let Israel rejoice in him that made him, Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Let the children of Zion be joyful in their king. Let them praise his name in the dance. Let them sing praises unto him with the timbrel and harp. For the Lord taketh pleasure in his people, the Israelites. He will beautify the meek with salvation, right, the elect. Let the saints be joyful in glory. Let them sing aloud upon their beds. Let the high praises of Yahweh Shem Yahushai be in their mouth, and a two-edged sword in their hand. Right, and this is when we're going to be ruling over the heathen, to execute vengeance upon the heathen and punishments upon the people, right? The other nations, to bind their kings with chains and their nobles with fetters of iron. So Esau, Edom, you going into captivity, the different heathens, whether that's, high level heathens or you just low level, as a nation, as a nation, the other nations are going into captivity. It says to execute upon them the judgment written. This honor have all his saints. Praise ye the Lord. Yeah, so the Israelites are going to rule, over the heathen nations. All through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. We know that's coming. That's right around the way, man. And these different, news articles, these are just indicators of the time that's to come. We know that the C-Hip is coming. WWE3 is coming all out. Hell's going to be breaking loose. Leviathan. Alright, you're going to have spirits created for vengeance out here. It's going to get bad. And then we know ultimately the Lord is going to come and beam up his elect. Right? The meek are going to be beautified, with salvation. Just like it says here. Alright, so with that, Lord's will, you're edified. Call halal, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah Quadash. Double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone, GMS, once again, as well as the sincere salutations to the elder bishops. Also, sincere salutations to you brothers out there. Keep pushing on through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh Shai, and above all, Shalom. Kwam Yashala. Shalom.